felt like I was under. And I just kept being like, be calm. Don't let it think you're a bot. Behave like a human would. I'm like, how would a human behave? I don't know.
Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists, and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey, everybody. It's Leah Riley.
Hello, it's Megan Erickson.
Hi there, it's Amy Pine. I don't think I've ever said my first and last name like that before.
Like, it was like weird to say my full name.
Yes. But we've decided that after 4 years, we should probably tell you guys who we are at the top of the pod.
Yeah, I don't think we always have to do last names. We can, but we gotta at least.
No.
I think we need to at least start introducing ourselves.
I wasn't expecting the last name, so Leah threw me.
I'm doing my first name, I'm doing my last name.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't feel Beyonce yet.
Beyonce. But we just think because we still get people who confuse us, and that's totally fine. Like, just so you know, if you're one of those, like, I'm like validating that you can get confused. And so I think we're trying to alleviate that. So we're going to try and introduce ourselves. Maybe we'll forget some podcasts, but I think we got to try to work on that.
Because we were talking about how other podcasts that we listen to, whether it's hosted by somebody very famous or not, they introduce themselves. So we thought maybe we should.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were like post Beyonce. We didn't even need an introduction.
No.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Because in the recorded open, Megan says, Annyeonghaseyo, we're Leah, Megan, and Amy. You know, like, she introduces us, but it's just Megan's voice.
Yeah, no one knows it's who it is.
Right.
And I don't even say I'm Megan, so people just don't even know.
That's Megan in the open. If nobody knew until today, secret's out.
You're like, you thought it was you this whole time.
Anyway, so I wanted to come clean about something to you two today before we get going. I'm hoping you'll be proud of me. So I ordered some wedge sandals from DSW a week ago, and I was just looking for a cute pair of sandals that were, you know, nice and comfy and whatever. And they came, they had good reviews, they were not comfortable. So I brought them back to DSW to return. And
I know where we're going with this.
I know you know. I brought them back to DSW to return, and there was nothing even remotely. And like, I am a cutesy shoe girl, okay?
Uh-huh. I know where you're going now.
Pass by an end cap that's got some platform Birkenstocks. Okay? Not cheap. But I'm like, what? No. And they had one platform, 3 straps, black patent leather. I'm like, if ever there was a Birkenstock for Amy, these would be them. But I'm like, what is all the hype about?
Yeah.
Took off my sneaker, slid my foot into the Birkenstock, and I was like, holy fucking hell. Now I know how Leah walked around New York City.
This is right. The arch support gives.
It was the most comfortable thing I've ever put on my foot, ever in my life. So I returned my $40 pair of uncomfortable sandals for my very first pair of Birkenstocks. And I'm so excited to wear them every single day this summer.
I am really excited for you because you will get your money's worth. I promise you will get more than 40.
I slid my foot in, and I almost like had an O right there in the store.
Yeah,
because I was like, I've never felt this before on my feet.
Wait till the cork, wear them
until the foot molds to my feet. Right.
When the cork molds to your feet, you will be like, why did I not have these for my entire life? That
was my first thought, as I was like, God damn it. And I never had anything against Birkenstocks. I just thought I couldn't pull them off. Like, I just thought they weren't me.
And then you just start like, you know what? Comfort is me.
Yeah, comfort is me. Well, that's the thing, is I was looking for comfortable and cute, and I found it, and I'm so excited. But you want to know what? I will never wear Crocs.
I just wear Crocs tonight.
Yeah, I got a pair of BTS Crocs.
My fur-lined Crocs are probably my second favorite shoe. Are they ugly? I have 100%. Like, I hate how they look, but oh man, they're great.
Mine are fur-lined as well. I only wear fur-lined Crocs.
They're great. but the Birkenstocks, I just had to wear them. I just finally like broke them out again Like I hadn't worn them for a while and I broke them out because it's been winter here. And oh God, it felt so good to slip my feet back into those. They're just the best. So enjoy, Amy.
I'm excited.
I'm really happy for you.
I actually bought a pair of new Birkenstocks in preparation for going to Seoul next month. I got the back strap too on this one. But yeah, I was like, those saw me so good in New York City. They're going to see me so good in Seoul. It's time for a new pair.
I love that you're in like sport, like when you put the back strap on Crocs and they say you're in sport mode. You've got like sport mode Birkenstocks now just to walk all over Seoul. I gotta be
clocking in like 25,000 steps a day. We're getting the back straps.
Oh,
incredible! God. You will be, and hills.
Yeah,
I'm sold. I get it. So
yeah.
So I am tired today, and my brain I'm at the point where I'm rapidly sliding into nonsensical from sleep deprivation.
Great.
So I have slept in 48 hours, but I can't tell you how many. I think maybe like 3.5 to 4 hours in 48 hours.
Why is this?
It's a little story time. Megan knows some of it today because you were working a day job out of the house. I tried to call Megan because I knew Megan was at home.
Yeah, my phone like didn't ring, and I checked my phone, and I was like,
it went to voicemail after like 3 calls, and I was like, look, I don't normally raw dog. The last time I think I called you out of the blue, I was pregnant, and so it's not like a common thing that I just like raw dog phone call.
Right. I swear I didn't ignore it. I didn't ring.
Yeah, we didn't talk, but we have caught up a little bit about what happened to me. Okay. Right. So I'm going to try to make this a very short and hopefully slightly entertaining story of hardship and perseverance. As Megan said, this is the full gamut of human emotions.
You went through a K-drama of human emotions.
I did.
Throughout this journey.
So basically, I'm going to Seoul next month, as I just mentioned with my Birkenstocks. And the catalyst for me choosing to go in June is BTS Festa. So the final 5 members getting out of the military, yada, yada, yada. If you don't know, slide into my DMs and I'll give you the lowdown. But anyway, that's the catalyst for me going in June. And of course, things were going to be happening. And so because I'm a ADHD Virgo who likes to try to plan things out, I've been trying to like guess what could be happening at different times and structuring my trip. I'd say I've done okay so far. Like I'm leaving the day after Jin, the oldest member, is having a concert. I can hit that. Anyway, I had kind of been like, I think that J-Hope is going to have his encore concert. I think it's going to be the weekend of the 20th, 21st. He did announce a concert. It was not that weekend. It was the weekend of Festa, which is the BTS anniversary, which is the 13th and 14th. I will be there though. So then I was like, okay, now I have to figure out how to get tickets in Korea and like run the gauntlet of that. So I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of research. I have become intimate friends with Interpart Global, which is the website to use at this point. But this is a steep learning curve, and I'm a boomer, and I'm not great with tech, and I had to figure a lot of this out. So I've made many mistakes along the way. But I just want to give a rundown of what happened to me. So I registered in a pre-sale to get tickets. I got like a global membership pass. The registration is slightly confusing because like you don't get a confirmation that lives anywhere. You just get like a pop-up that says like you're confirmed, and you have to like trust in God that like that's it. But there's nothing that like goes into your account that's like you're automatically confirmed. Like there's proof something worked for you. So you have to just kind of like hope for the best. So in the pre-sale, I got hosed. I had tickets go into my account 3 separate times, and each time it was rejected and refunded for being bought activity. So I was completely shut out of the pre-sale. And as I was in the queue waiting to like try again, the queue kicked me out because they were like, pre-sale's over. Your dumbass is going into the general sale. And I was like, general sale is where hope goes to die, obviously. Like no one's getting, like he pretty much sold out the pre-sale. Like I'm on the slow path to fucked at this point.
Right.
So queue up again for the pre-sale or the general sale the next day. Me and 80,000 of my good friends.
Oh God.
To get into the general sale. So I did a lot of work on like how to navigate this website because it does give like an early 2000s, actually gives kind of like an Oregon Trail vibe, which surprises me for Korea, given how progressive and fast moving and like well technologied everything felt when I was there. This website does not deliver on that promise. I feel like I'm like in It feels like I'm in some of my like university's worst admin folders or something. So anyway, general sale, crash and burn again. And at that point, the phenomenon that happens in Korea that is good to a point and frustrating as well is there's no ticket resale where you can be like, fuck it then. I'm just going to like pay top dollar to someone scamming me and I'm just going to go to the show. We don't get that like Taylor Swift markup stuff. That's good in many ways. However, it makes it much more challenging of what to do next. So what people will do is if they decide they can't make the show for some reason, they just return their ticket and they get a refund, which we don't have. So like if I buy concert tickets and I'm like, I actually am not going to be able to do this one. That's it on me. Like I can resell it or I can eat it. But like Ticketmaster or something isn't going to give me money back. So this site does. So you can move into the stage of ticket buying that's known as camping, where you just raw dog in and you just hope that somebody's getting rid of their ticket. And when I say it's like playing the lottery, it is like playing the lottery. So right now, I'm in a queue that has 35,000 people in it. And when I look, it says there's 99% of the tickets are sold. So that means at any given time, a couple of tickets are changing hands where somebody might be dropping off a ticket, being like, I don't want it. And thousands of their good friends are sitting there like hawks waiting to snap it up. And how the stadium is set up is it's in like 20 different boxes. So when you sign into the site, you don't do a Ticketmaster where it lists all the available tickets on the side and you get to be like, okay, I'm going for this one. You're clicking seating box to seating box to seating box to like see if any of these little gray squares pop up with a seat.
That's crazy.
And if you click too fast, it's like you're going into timeout. You only get 10 minutes to be in there, by the way, because there's tens of thousands of people at any time trying to get in. So you have 10 minutes to be in there to try for it.
Who designed the system?
It's like Squid Game. It really is. It's like
that's what it sounds like. It's meant to torture you.
I'm anxious just hearing about this.
Me too. I'm like starting to sweat.
You click box to box to box,
okay.
But if you click too fast, you'll get put into timeout. So I've been put into timeout after waiting, and I'm saying these queues don't move fast because people can wait up to 10 minutes looking, and they do. So, I mean, it takes like 12 hours to move through a queue, and then you get your 10-minute shot. And so I would get in and like, you're just seeing nothing. So you're like, click, click, click. And I mean, I've done this now for like days. So I'm getting pretty good at like clicking. It'll be like, nope, your ass is clicking way too fast. We think you're a bot. You're going into timeout now. And for like 7 of the 10 minutes, I'm just sitting in timeout until like it lets me play again. So
it's like Squid Game.
Yesterday. And so now it became, so I got a little bit crazy with it. I got the crazy eye because like, yes, it's a long shot, but I also just got the crazy eye. So I began to just carry and you have to only buy on your laptop. You can't get on your phone. So I began to carry my laptop around the world with me. Like it was like a little blanket with like my hotspot phone winging it. So like I'm picking up the kids from school. My laptop's in the passenger seat. I'm like, get in the back seat. Mama's like 29,000th in the queue. You know, like all day yesterday, I'm just walking around with this laptop plumped into my phone. I go take Bronte to play practice and I realize, fuck, I haven't charged my phone all day. My phone is down to 2% and I'm at the play still mucking down like the thing. So I just sit in the car running. Like, I'm sorry, environment. I'm sorry, global environment. I sat there with my car running because I'm like, this phone cannot die. I cannot get knocked out of the queue. I go home. I'm at like 15,000th in the queue. And all of a sudden, the tickets, which were at 100% booked, all of a sudden just go 99%, 98%, 97%, 96%, 95%, gets to 94%. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I look on Twitter. People are like, I don't know what's going on, but hundreds of tickets are dropping into the site right now. There's tickets in the front row. There's tickets up in the back. There's just tickets popping up. And yes, I'm 15,000th in the queue, but this is like the best I've seen anything. So I'm just like, I got to chill out. This is like at least some good news that good things could happen. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to go like chill out. I'm going to go, just take a second, put my laptop on the bed. I come back in and my little sleeper screen had gone off.
Oh.
My little sleeper screen triggered the queue to think I was inactive and knocked me out of the queue right at the one time that there was actually tickets for sale to buy. So at that point, I sat down on the bed. It was like 10:30 at night last night. And I'd been doing this, like I'd been in that queue for like the entire night before, which is why I hadn't like slept great. And I was like, you know what? I could just shut this up and go to bed and just fucking like give it a couple days. but I'm going to clean out my cache. I'm going to just get rid of anything that looks like it could be bot activity that like is making the site mad at me. And I'm just going to fucking walk with Jesus Christ on this one. And I'm going to like make something happen. I'm going to do it again. I'm like going to cry. So I go back in the queue. I'm 49,000. And I'm just like, let's see where the wind takes us again.
Yeah.
All night I set my alarm so that I woke up every hour and a half to just check my placement in the queue, because I was kind of predicting how fast the queue is moving. And I'm like, if it's moving at the current rate, this should be putting me through right about the time I'm supposed to be driving the kids to school tomorrow morning. Like, that's when I should get through.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up like every hour and a half.
Be like, you're going to be late, kids.
Yeah. By 5:30 in the morning, I'm just up again. So I'm trying to like do some work. I'm trying to just like, you know, write and like not accidentally knock anything to like knock me out of the queue. I set up my computer so like the screen thing doesn't come on. It just like runs on power. Like, you know, it's eating all my battery, running on power. I have solar. Thank you, environment. And yeah, it gets to like 8:00 and I'm 900th in line. And my son's like, my ride fell through. I'm like, I'm sorry. I will call you. I don't know what to do. Like, we're not leaving. I'm not fucking putting this in the car. I'm not driving it around. Like, I'm in it. I'm just going to have my 10 minutes.
Right.
Of like, whatever. Like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And Nick's kind of like, I think I looked scary enough that Nick was like, oh, like Nick didn't even push back. He's like, I'm going to bike Poppy to school. Like, if anyone else doesn't get to school, okay. Like, Mama's locked in on the couch. I slept on the couch all night. My hair was like psycho. I just was like, ah. So I get down and it's like 7, 6. And it's like taking like like I sat at 6 for like 5 minutes. They like let me in. And as I'm going in, I'm like, breathe in.
Usa.
Yeah. I enter. It's as expected, just everything's sold out. Like, I mean, as I went in, it was 99% sold out. Like, you know, there was nothing. So I'm just gray box. And I'm like, click slowly and calmly. Just, this is your 10 minutes. You'll go back in the queue. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to click to day 2. Click, nothing. I click in a room and there's a fucking block lit up. And I was like, do not shit your pants. Calmly click that blue box. I click it. It's like, because I'd seen a box one other time and it was like sold. Because that's how Ticketmaster works. You hit something, it's already gone.
Right.
I click, it goes in my cart. And I just start sweating. I am dripping sweat. I am sweating so much that like I can like smell myself within like 9 seconds. And I'm just like, okay. And then like I have to do all this verification of like all my shit. And then I'm like, but this is where it's kicked me out in the past. It said I was a bot. It said I didn't exist. It like got me. I like went through that mark. And then it's like, now you're going to put in your payment. And then I was thinking of all the people I knew who'd put in their payment. And it was like, no, we don't like your payment. I put in my fucking payment. When I tell you I couldn't find my credit, I had no cards. I have no idea where my cards are. No idea where my wallet is. What I have though is a screenshot Bronte took and had texted me of my phone back and front from the other day when I was out and I needed to put my card in for something and I didn't have it. I'm like, I'm going to calmly pick up my phone. I'm going to open up my text message from Bronte and I'm going to input my credit card because I have no idea where my card is right now. And I'm going to input my payment into it.
Right.
It accepts it. It's like, let me scan your face for security. I was like, scan my face. I'm going to lick this ticket and make it mine. I have a fucking ticket. I got a ticket to go.
That is so incredible.
Oh my God.
I burst into I was howling. Like, I cried with Shiga for sure. I cried with this in a different way. Like, I cried from like a
This is
of, like
the effort, the fact that it's in Seoul, like there's so much.
Running out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist and was just like, who, what? And I was just like, tickets. I got tickets. Jared runs upstairs. My daughter is texting me on the phone, like, are you okay? She's like, I thought Nana died. And I was just on the couch like, ugh! And this afternoon, she's like, I got to talk to you. Because she's like, it's occurred to me that I don't think you cried like this when any of us were born. I'm like, no, of course I didn't. I was like, I didn't cry like that when you were born. You'd been in me. Like, it wasn't like, this wasn't a moment to raw dog sob. But
right.
This, yeah. I mean, literally, so that's my story. At this point, I am going on the 14th. But now I'm feeling inspired, so I'm back that's why when I said I'm 34,000th in the queue, I'm like, fuck it. We're just going for day 1 too. And I got a month to sit here and do this. Although I am going to sleep, I now feel like I have like mentally cleared something and I'm like, I'm doing it again. Yeah.
But hey, that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
And so yes, I'm also going to the Seoul Music Awards, which is amazing. And
She's going to see Byeonwoo suck and doesn't even understand how amazing that is.
I'm excited for you. I'm going to do my best to make this happen for you. And I'm seeing Runjin. So at this point, the like Korean entertainment is stacking up very nicely. Like I feel like I'm getting my money's worth for the flight of like magic is happening for me. But all I was thinking, because I kept getting knocked back over and over, and I was like starting to be like, look, Amy and Megan tell me that I have really good luck traveling. I need to just believe.
You do.
I need to believe. And I was like, it's not feeling like it. I think I've used up all my luck. I was like,
especially then not having your payment ready. Oh my God.
Yeah. Dude, girl, what?
I thought I had it and then I didn't have it and I didn't know where it was. And all I knew was I was like, on my phone, I have a screenshot that I know I'm not meant to have of my card.
I know
that's
that I shop way too much online because I know my debit card number by heart.
Ooh, that's good. I need to learn it now because I mean, never again. I can't tell when I tell you, and I'm not exaggerating. Like people are like, oh, I was sweating that. I'm telling you, I broke out. Like I was drenched. Like the pressure I felt like I was under. And I just kept being like, be calm. Don't let it think you're a bot. Behave like a human would. I'm like, how would a human behave? I don't know.
Like, I don't even feel human anymore.
I think what happened is fate was like last night, like, nah, dog, you get through this. We're going to knock you out again because we have whatever is in your cash that makes you think you're a bot. So I think it was
that was like, pretty smart to just clear your cash and start fresh.
The cash and start fresh was like a mercy kill from the world to say, look, this is going to feel hard in this moment, but you're going to get what you need in the end. So that's my lesson for today is if you ever think you're going to give up, I guess it's like, how bad do you want it though? That's one thing. How bad do you want it? And if you want it really bad,
you're going to get it.
I mean, look what happened to Amy with her ticket to Taylor Swift.
I walked into the concert without a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm getting in.
And you did.
And I did.
Well, I will say, I am sorry I missed your call. And just, you can always call me. Like, I don't know why I didn't hear your phone call. Probably because I have it on silent, like, all the time. But you can feel free to call me, either of you, if like something like this happens.
I talked to Megan from the Afternoona Army because I texted her too. And so she got to hear me just be like,
oh, I'm so happy.
So did Jared get to school?
He did. And he was very late. I went to the attendance office and was like, he had a doctor's appointment. And then I bounced back because I put in that information incorrectly because I was so flustered. So I had like an inbox that was like, whatever this is, like, I don't know, like I've got to write to the attendance guy again and be like,
I'm so excited for you. This whole trip is going to be so amazing. Like I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just had to share it because I felt like I was on a journey that like, I keep looking to be like, nobody's taken it, right? Like it's still in there, right? Like it exists, right? And I just keep
still mine
and checking.
Is it like Ticketmaster where it's an app where the ticket's sitting in an app now?
It's sitting in an app. But the app had so the thing that broke my heart really on like pre-sale day is I have an email that's like, your payment's been completed. I had a ticket and then it's like, your ticket's been refunded because like it thought I was like not real. And so as soon as it went into my account and it took my money, it like put it back in the system. So I have both. Like at 4:39, it's like, thank you. And then at 4:39, it's like, goodbye. And I kept looking at it being like, oh God.
Oh my God.
It's like a rejection email from an editor. You just keep like looking at it. At least I did. I still have mine saved.
I have all of mine.
Yeah.
I thought about writing to like the company and being like, look, and I was like, they're going to be like, fuck you. And so I was just like, I got to just keep going. So anyway, that's my story. And I'm going to do I'm going to try so hard to document, like for going to Seoul Music Awards and seeing like K-drama actors and things like that. I'm going to try really hard to document that. And then, I just feel like I think I talked to Becky today. I was like, I feel very humbled. And I feel very cocky at the exact same time. Like
that tracks.
Yeah. And I was like, that feels like me. But I also just feel like I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And like, universe, thank you. And then I'm also like, God, I'm a fucking golden god.
This is true.
I'm so happy. I'm
And
very
my
happy for you.
segue is because of that, I feel like I am the kind of person you want to have on a journey.
Heck yeah.
I will come in a clutch because I think I could make a very good sidekick.
Today you are a main character.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a sidekick on J-Hope's journey.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
In past podcast episodes, we've recorded our, I would say, pretty popular second lead SOSs, and that's where we take either like a second lead who like didn't get the object of their affection, and then we rewrite their story and give them their own happily ever after. But one thing like we realized lately is we haven't actually just talked about supporting characters, like period. So these aren't necessarily second leads. They might be second leads. These are characters that just have really hooked us, from Captain Ree's Ducklings to I Have No Chingu Cousin. Supporting characters have many roles. They can provide comedic relief, give us an alternative view of the main character, lend an ear to our main leads, and even have their own romance. Supporting characters have a way of sneaking their way into our hearts and sticking there. And just a note, not all supporting characters have to be human. So as I was researching for this podcast, I found a list of supporting character archetypes on an author blog that I thought would be kind of fun to go over and would be a good springboard to our discussion. So we'll link this in the show notes, but this is from Setting Your Muse on Fire by Jana Veer. So thank you for this because I think these are really good ones. First one is mentor, someone who guides the main character to their destination.
An ally. Allies are the sounding board, conscience, or the foil to the main character.
The trickster. These are supporting characters who are mischievous, clever, unpredictable, and bring chaos to our main character's carefully laid plans. They are not necessarily evil, but can be morally ambiguous.
Guardian. A guardian stands as a barrier for the MC to get to the next stage in their journey, so not necessarily a villain. A good example would be like a police chief blocking the plucky journalist's investigation.
A herald pushes our main character out of their comfortable life.
Shapeshifter. A shapeshifter is out to cause trouble and is less morally ambiguous and more outright antagonistic. They can often be two-faced.
And then the last one is Shadow. It's a character that represents all the main character's traits that they are trying to repress in themselves. They can be their own character or two versions of a character. So think like Smeagol and Gollum in Lord of the Rings, or like Jekyll and Hyde. But I will always want to mention Lord of the Rings if I get a chance. First of all, let's just talk about our own writing. So how do you write compelling supporting characters, and what is a favorite of yours that you've written?
So Megan said supporting characters don't have to be human, and
they don't.
And one of my favorite supporting characters that I've written throughout my cowboy books is a psychic chicken, a female chicken, so she's a hen, named Lucy, but she's only psychic when it comes to romance, so she can tell a couple is supposed to be together. And this started as just kind of like a silly thing because I was trying to, think up quirky things for a small town, ranching family. And I just thought the chicken was funny, and she just kind of pops up in books. And yeah, I think for writing, for the stuff that we do early on in my romance writing career, I learned that you need to plant seeds of people who may one day be main characters. And so I think writing side characters that have potential main character energy is the trick. And I don't know what that trick is, because sometimes then I get lost in a side character and I like them more. I'll be writing, I have 2 series that have, 3 brother, main characters. And I'll already know, oh, this brother's going to be my favorite. I wish I was writing him now, but I'm not, kind of thing. And it just kind of unfolds on the page. But yeah, I think that is kind of the writing trick of it, is if you can write a side character who people will want to be a main character, then that's kind of the goal. I don't know how to actually do that. I just try.
I love that. I think that resonates a lot with me for side characters too, especially, writing sports teams, brothers. Those are all I'm you're all little sequel bait waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's fun. And it's fun sometimes. It can also make you impatient when you're okay, brother 3 is going to be in the 3rd book, but I really wish I could write him now. Like, it's kind of fun. Like, I do like writing those kind of characters where, like, then it's like makes me look forward to getting to that character. I would say that for me, what are 2 that, so I tried to do one that I really just have like, it was the first one that came to mind, which was you had the psychic chicken. I have a chicken killing granny. And so in my Brightwater series, which was like kind of small town cowboy-ish, the first scene of the first book in that, Last First Kiss, like it came to me just in one thing, which is the heroine has just moved back to the small town. It's after midnight and there's a knock at the door. And like knocks at the door are never a good thing, especially like after midnight. Like that's not a good sign. And she goes to open the door and there's a chicken pot pie sitting at the front door. And essentially the neighbor who they have like a Hatfield and McCoy relationship with, and this is the grandmother of the hero because she grew up kind of like next door to this family that like really like they just didn't like each other. Her homesteaded chickens, like one got out and went over into the neighbor's garden. So the grandma turned it into, I guess like in books, they're like never kill the dog. Well, I killed the chicken in like page 2 and put it in a pot pie. And then that granny became like an antagonistic character through like multiple books where, you know, she has her reasons and she's like more morally ambiguous, I would say, of, you know, she's going to ride or die for her boys, but like other people, you know, she's definitely going to chop their chickens' heads off and not feel bad about it. And then I did Jane Austen, and Jane Austen was a challenging one for me because I was like, oh, this is a fun concept. And then when I sat down to write it, I'm like, oh, it's actually really intimidating to write about like one of the most famous authors in the entire world and like put a POV to like what she's going to do and say. And so that was a fun challenge that I hadn't really realized that it was going to make me nervous until I sat down to do it. And then I'm like, oh, this actually feels tricky to do.
I loved it.
And so I ended up not researching. I mean, I researched her enough to get the facts. And I think we kind of all know that like she's smart, she's witty, she was highly independent. You know, there's aspects of her life, but I had to just be like, I am not doing like a biopic of this person. Like I'm going to put my own flavor to it.
Just speaking of the chicken, did I ever tell you that my dad, when he was growing up, grew up in a very PA Dutch working class household, and he came home from school one day and he's like, where's Fluffy? Because he had a pet rabbit named Fluffy, and his mom said it's for dinner. She literally killed his rabbit while he was at school and put it in soup. Yeah.
I mean, that's the way the cookie can crumble, but
I mean,
boy, that's a hard one.
Yeah. I'm just, you know.
And he's obviously never gotten over it.
Well, he laughs now about it.
He laughs about it.
He does. I guess he wasn't that attached to Fluffy. Anyway, that was really positive. So I kind of looked at this 2 different ways because I do think there's a little bit of a difference. But there isn't. There isn't a difference. But I do treat characters differently if like I know they're going to be sequel bait. Like if I'm trying to write sequel bait characters, I definitely write them in a different way. I try to always give them some sort of secret. So I almost every time if I'm writing a sequel bait character, they have to say something cryptic about their past. I'm not saying maybe it's a trick. I don't know. But that's what I do every time. Show a tiny bit of vulnerability and have them say something cryptic about their past. It gets people every time. Like it's like hook, line, and sinker. Okay. I do it for every freaking alien I write. And like clockwork, well, these readers too. Readers are savvy. They know what sequel bait is and they're ready for sequel bait. Like I know as a reader, I'm waiting for that. Like tell me who the next like main leads are going to be. But then as far as like secondary characters that I don't plan on like making main leads. So obviously if I write my alien series, sometimes I'll have these like other aliens that are side characters and they're not necessarily aliens I would probably ever give a romance to. And they're really fun to write because I feel like I can be super creative with them and just make them kind of cute, endearing side characters that like support the main leads. But I'm not trying to make them mysterious and hot and sexy. And do you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make them like, because I write romance. And so I had written these 2 little like hobbit characters that essentially live in the walls, like live in a tunnel system like outside of this prison. So, because my female lead is obviously in an alien prison that's like underground in a pit, okay? And they like find a way to like get to the tunnels. Like there's like an opening that I guess these little hobbits had tried to find. I say I guess, I'm the one who wrote it, but I don't really remember. And essentially they're like saved by these little hobbits. And the hobbits, they have like a funny way of speaking, which is always really fun to me, to like have them talk differently. Like it's not a different language essentially, but it's like, I don't know, just maybe they repeat words or something like that. But these two little hobbits, and they're like platonic life partners, which is like the funnest part. They're just like these two little male hobbits who are definitely maybe Samwise and Frodo in like another life. And they're just platonic life partners, and they do everything together, and they're really sweet, and they end up like saving the main couple. Like that's like the hobbits are like essential. They're essential to their escape. And then the main leads are like, well, then come live with us. And so these little hobbit friends all live happily ever after with the main leads. And they're like one of my favorite thing I've ever written.
What are they actually called?
Now hillbows. Hillbobs. That's what they're called. They're called hillbobs. I don't know. Okay, look, I just wrote stuff
Sounds
down.
a little bit like Bilbo.
Yeah, and then I also wrote these like, I really like this too. I forget now what I called them. I can't believe I have to go look it up. But they're essentially like a kind of a soft, I think of them as like deer-like creatures. They're just kind of like cute and small. But they walk on two legs. They're bipedal. They have a language, but really only with each other. And it's kind of nonverbal. And like the big mean aliens kind of use them as like a little bit like slave labor, but just kind of like clean up after us, feed us, that kind of stuff. And they're really sweet because they really take to like the human that is like kidnapped with them. And it's funny because I got a lot of people who are like, you have to go back and free all those creatures. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we love them. So I ended up in a future book, they all get to return home to their like beautiful utopia that they'd been stolen from, which is also really fun. So I really I have to say, that's one thing about writing like alien romance it's just so much fun to just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw a hobbit in this book.
Because you can.
Because I can. And it's super, it's really fun. Okay. And then what is a favorite side character of yours in any like Western show, movie, book, like whatever, just so we can kind of give people an idea of what we're talking about.
So what I love about the example that I'm going to share is this character was meant to not survive the first season of this show. And because he was written so well and acted so well, he became a main player. And that is Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
One of my favorite characters of all time.
He is my favorite character from Stranger Things. Yes, definitely one of my favorite characters of all time.
Incredible.
The Duffer Brothers had planned to have Steve die at the end of Stranger Things season 1.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they loved the way that Joe Keery played him so much that they rewrote the ending of season 1 and made him a series regular. And so now, because the final season is finally coming, like I'm almost over it because it's been so fucking long, but I'm going to, of course, watch season 5. But my whole investment in this is like, I will fucking riot if Steve does not make it through the end of the series now.
Yeah, I'm really terrified they're going to kill Steve.
I am.
I really am.
I don't think that he's dying.
Okay, good. I want to.
I hope not, because I'm scared.
No,
because he keeps almost dying. He's been almost dead.
He's almost died a million. He's been beaten up by mobster. I mean, he is like, he survives everything. He's charming about it. He's truly one of the best supporting characters. He supports all the leads.
Yeah.
He's
the babysitter.
He's the babysitter. He is such a good. Like,
He's so good.
I saw that you had written in the script that you were going to say him. I was like, I can't believe, first of all, I didn't think of him first, but genius.
I think Stranger Things in general is just really great at side characters. Because another one that I dropped in there was Erica, which is Lucas's sister in Stranger Things.
Oh, she's great.
She's so freaking funny. Like they do kill off like great side characters, like Eddie, like played by Joe Quinn, favorite character of last season. And sorry, Eddie.
They do, but I feel like Eddie, like Steve, is too like central.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like Eddie was there for that season, and he served his purpose. But like, just an example of like just great side characters that have full arcs, and they're 3-dimensional. You know, even Erica. Like Erica used to just be there to like, you know, give Lucas shit, and now she's like part of the gang. So
in season 4, she had a much bigger part, and it was really great. I loved it. Okay, so for me, I chose, first of all, Shane from The Walking Dead. I'll never stop talking about Shane from The Walking Dead. He was done dirty, I think, by the plot, although he was a much he had a much smaller part in the graphic novels. So like props to giving him a bigger role. John Bernthal is probably the reason because he's incredible as Shane. But Shane is so important to support Rick Grimes. He causes so much tension. He's sort of, in a way, I would maybe call him the Shadow, if we're going to go with one of the archetypes, because I really think Shane represents everything that Rick Grimes thinks he doesn't want to be. Shane is a little bit more ruthless. He's solely focused on like survival. He's kind of willing to like cut the fat, to use that term. He's going to leave the weak behind, and he's going to be like survival of the fittest. And I think Rick doesn't want to be that person. I think Rick maybe eventually kind of goes a little crazy, but Shane, I think for a while is what keeps Rick Grimes together, because I'm convinced that after Shane dies, that's when Rick, like, that's the start of his decline. So anyway, I love Shane. I think he was just so important to the story. I wish he could have lasted longer, but I also get why he didn't.
He's a good foil for Rick.
He's a great foil.
Yeah.
He's just, to me, that's why season 1 was so good. I think Rick and Shane facing off against each other was, I'll never stop talking about it. Like, it was just so good. Because after that, I felt like Stephen Yeun had to carry everything, in my opinion. Not that anything was wrong with Andrew Lincoln, but you can't just have a main character doing everything on his own for a 7-season show. Like, you just can't.
You need
it work.
You need a Glenn.
You need a Glenn. You need a Shane. You need these supporting characters to, like, because essentially sometimes supporting characters, I think, represent various aspects of the main character.
Yeah.
In a way.
So you watched Walking Dead, Amy? Because I didn't, and I'm shocked that you did.
With Connor, but I quit it when Negan showed up because I knew that Negan killed Glenn, and I knew that it was brutal, and I didn't want to watch it, and I was like, I'm done. Also
I
because
stopped after that too.
Also because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as an actor, and I didn't want to see him in that role, so I was just like, there's too much. I can't. I would not have been able to watch it without Connor, because it's the kind of thing where obviously I like get grossed out and need to be told when I can like open my eyes. Sometimes it's too quick though, and it just happens. There's some pretty gross stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's all about, like, what I was going to say about Shane is I think Shane is a great foil, especially for season 1. And I think, it's because, like, Rick wakes up and like the zombie apocalypse has happened. Like, he's been in a coma, so he doesn't know what everybody else has been going through. So I think Rick's empathy lasts a lot longer than the people he ends up with. And I think Shane is like an example of, at some point to survive, you have to turn your empathy off.
Yeah, you got
to be able to do what you need to do. And Shane, I'm not saying I agree with everything Shane did.
Yeah.
But I get his character's GMC.
Yeah. Well, I've read some sort of like things about, because I've read a lot about The Walking Dead, that Shane would have been perfect for like season 5. Basically, by season 5 or 6 or whatever, everyone was like Shane.
Yeah.
Shane got there faster.
Yep.
Because he's smarter and he knew it was going to go there. That's why I like I said, I love Shane.
Yeah.
And then I would say my other one is the Hound from Game of Thrones. I absolutely loved the Hound. He was truly one of my favorite characters. He had kind of that like backstory with like the fire. So he had this like kryptonite, which is always good. Like, it's always great to have like a kryptonite for your character, especially a character that was like comes across as powerful as the Hound. So the fact that he's like scared of fire. He has this like brother who's, I don't know, he's like half robot by the end. I don't even know what happened with his brother. And then the Hound also had this like he loves Sansa. So that was like carried throughout, even though he knows he's never going to get Sansa. And just like the whole Hound, he was like involved in everyone's storylines. He had like little tentacles in everyone's storylines. And I just thought he was a really great supporting character.
So I don't know what this is, but lately all I get on social media, I've been getting so much Sex in the City. And I'm not like a hard Sex in the City stan or anything, but I get a lot of Sex in the City shows. So right now I'm on what like TikTok wants me to see is, I just want to see BTS.
Right.
I get Sex in the City.
What?
I get the Pope, which I get because look, the Pope can get it. And like I haven't even started talking about my thing with the Pope lately. And then Korean cheerleaders, which was like a thing like 2 years ago. But like
it was.
now,
I'm surprised you're getting this back now.
yeah, because I was telling Bronte and she's like, why are you so behind? Korean cheerleaders are like done. I'm like, well, for me, they're very much active and doing their like 3-move dances.
Yeah.
But so I've been thinking about Sex and the City more because I see it all the time. Like, and I end up watching the clips every time, even
That's
though like
so
I don't
funny.
really
Well,
like the show.
well, if you're watching the clips, that's why you're getting more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, exactly. So
The clip of Carrie beating Big with her wedding flowers it's my favorite. It's my favorite
so
clip of.
I dislike Carrie so much.
I'm just
But Samantha, I love. So I'm gonna go
yeah.
with Samantha. Like Samantha is the GOAT. I think Samantha is like who I want to be when I grow up. There's just everything about Samantha is rad. And like I don't think I'm any of the Sex and the City characters, frankly. But if I had to pick like one, I would want to be her. But like none of their archetypes are like my archetype. But I like that she was unapologetically going to be on her own team and not to sell anyone out. Like she was never going to like get hers and like screw you over, but she was always going to be like, but this is what I want and this is what I need. She wasn't going to like, she's still a good friend, but she wasn't going to like compromise herself. And I think that that is a great role model. And then the other one I put on because look, I love a sidekick for real. And the best sidekick, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings.
Best sidekick ever.
I was just listening to like a really funny, like, I think it was on NPR when I was driving this weekend. They were talking, it was, what's his name? Elijah Wood was talking about Lord of the Rings on NPR. And he was saying that Sean Astin was a real, like, he just never trusted anything. And so he was saying how like his personality was just to be like very uptight and shooting. And the example he gave was they were often going in helicopters to shoots. And like he would be in the back with like the actors that play like Merryweather and Pippin and like, you know, Frodo, Merry and Pippin are just like, woo, like bank the helicopter. This is so fun. And like Sean Astin spending the whole time being like, you know that there's a helicopter behind you, right? You know that that mountain is over there, right? Like just like backseat driving like the helicopter pilot. And Elijah Wood was just like, and meanwhile, I'm just like, and you know what? Sean Astin, there's a shout out to somebody else gone too soon on Stranger Things.
Right? Bob.
Bob.
R.I.P. Bob.
I think they were like, no, we're not taking Steve. We're going to do Bob.
Poor Bob.
Bob got it bad.
But yeah, Samwise. Okay, here's a question I do have, and then we'll move on. Do you really think, is Frodo and Samwise platonic or do we ship it?
No, I don't ship it. Well, I think they're. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about this later.
Oh, okay. Then we'll save it for later because I didn't know this was going to come up later.
Well, I'm not going to talk about Frodo and Samwise, but I am going to talk about different types of like love and why I fully think they love each other, but I think it's platonic. That's all.
You know,
didn't Samwise have a girlfriend?
I think if Frodo wanted it, Sam would go there.
I do. Yeah,
that's how I think it is. I think Frodo holds the key to whether or not it happens.
He holds the ring.
He does.
I think what happens in Mordor stays in Mordor. And if on a lonely, cold night, two friends find companionship, there are many kinds of love. And some love is I am friendly with you and my hands in your pants.
My hands in your pants. Oh my God.
Moving on. All right, K-pop Rec of the Week.
So, yeah, I have one. And Leah probably knows what this one is, but I'm going with Gnarly by Katseye.
Ooh.
Look, let me talk about this. I absolutely hated this song. Leah's like, Megan, you have got to check out the latest by Katseye. It's called Gnarly. Go look it up. I couldn't listen to the whole thing because I was cringing so hard. The lyrics are so bad. And for the record, I stand by the fact that the lyrics are terrible. And it was funny because I was talking... My daughter likes the song. She liked the song from the very beginning. She's 12. And I said, well, it's like your slang. And she looks at me and she goes, Mom, I have never said gang gang once in my life.
But now I say gang gang all the time. And my daughter hates it. I'm always like, gang gang, gang gang,
gang gang, gang gang, gang gang, gang
gang, gang gang, gang gang, gang gang.
So look, the lyrics are still terrible. It's like Tesla, fried chicken. They're talking. Like I saw someone who was like, don't they sound amazing singing live? I'm like, they're talking. The entire, there's no singing in this song, okay? But here's the thing. The beat's incredible. Like, I'm sorry. You can't, like, once you hear it twice, it's going to be in your head.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. And the girls sell it.
Gnarly.
Everything's gnarly. The girls sell it so well, do they not?
Sell it. They just, they go all in.
Like, they had to have decided as a group.
So they're just
like,
I just looked at the lyrics. They're just making a list of everything they think is gnarly.
Correct.
But it's
You have to listen to it,
It's not
Amy.
the lyrics, it's what their asses do.
It is. It's the choreography, which is like truly great choreography. And their facial expressions as they're dancing.
They serve it. And they're just like, you know what? We're badass bitches. And I'm like, you are. This song is so bad and I don't even care you've made it good. That's how badass you are.
And you know what? Like, then everyone's dancing to it, like, all over. Like, it's definitely like a dance challenge now. And you know what? Good for these girls, because I can't imagine what they thought when they were first given this song. They probably had to huddle up and be like, okay, girls, we can't do this half-assed, because half-assed, it would just be no one's going to watch it. They're like, we have to fully sell this and then we can make it work. And damn it, they did.
And the thing that is, too, is that they kept saying, like, they were like, you're going to watch it the first time and you're not going to get it. You might watch it 2 times and you're not going to get it. But then you're going to watch it and you're going to get it. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I'm not going to get fried chicken, ladies. And I was like trying to be like, I like Katseye, but like, bless. And I was like, God, I saw it live. I think when I saw that, because the music video, I was just like, nope, not it. But
no,
then
it's a live.
And I was like, okay, fine.
I know. Damn it. I'm mad about it. I didn't want to like it. I wanted to completely avoid it, but these girls sold it. So I don't, fuck off the 20 writers that are on this song. Honestly, the girls. Straight up, props to the girls. They're the reason this song is doing well. So good for them. So I just have to bring it up because it's like, that's what people are talking about in K-pop right now is Gnarly. So we're going to put in the show notes, watch at your own risk, because it will be in your head, and then you're going to be saying stupid stuff like gang gang. Okay? Okay. So check out Gnarly by Katseye. Okay. So let's get to it. This is why you're here. Let's talk about our favorite supporting characters in K-dramas. So basically, we're just going to shout out our favorites. We all have a couple. We're going to tell you why we like them, if they fit into any of the archetypes. Because I do think those archetypes are pretty cool. I thought that was a good list.
Okay. So my first one, I think this is the first character that made me go to another drama for a specific actor. And that's Kim Jae-wook as No Sung-ki in Coffee Prince. He's the reason why I watched Her Private Life. He's the reason why I was Team Ryan Gold. And he's definitely an ally for Han-kyul and Eun-chan. He plays one of the men who work in the coffee house. And he's always very quiet, I don't know if he's broody, but he's a little broody, I guess. He's quiet. He's a little broody. He's tall. He's got his ponytail. He's got his black nail polish. He's the emo coffee cook back in the kitchen. And he just is kind of there for Eun-chan and, recognizes her feelings for Han-kyul. And yeah, I don't know. He's a quiet presence that I think is very comforting for her. And I loved him. And I'm like, who is this guy? I want to see more of him. I wish he had his own drama. Like just that character. I wish he had his own drama because he did have a little bit of an arc, a little bit of an unrequited romantic arc. And I loved him. So yeah, a great ally and a really good looking man.
I know you guys were like, you would think of Ryan Gold differently if you saw Coffee Prince before Her Private Life. And maybe
I do think so. I do think so.
I mean, yeah, he was amazing.
So we do have, like, in Slack, we talk about show ideas. So supporting characters was one of my ideas. And the reason I'm saying that is because this character I'm going to talk about is the whole reason I wanted. Everything we've talked about has been to lead up to this, okay?
We did a whole podcast episode.
Just so Megan could talk about this one character.
Yeah, basically. So I'm going to talk about An Suho, who is played by Choi Hyun-wook from Weak Hero Class Season 1. So look, I was told to watch Weak Hero Class. Gavin and Aaron, 2 of our listeners, were in my DM saying, you got to watch this. I started watching it, and as soon as An Suho came on the screen, I knew he was gonna like change my life. So let me explain a little bit, just quick about Weak Hero Class. So Weak Hero Class, the main lead is Shion. He's played by Park Ji-hoon, and Shion is kind of this quiet, um, despondent, a little angry student in high school. Okay, like his dad ignores him, his mom, I don't know where she's like just off doing her own thing. They basically have said before they didn't really want kids, so he's just kind of like on his own. No one really pays attention to him. He's kind of that type of character who just like blends in the background. And of course, he goes to an all boys school, so he's kind of ripe for bullying. He's small, keeps to himself, and he's also he's not like a charming character in any way. In contrast, you have An Suho, played by Choi Hyun-wook. I cannot tell you how charming he is. So he comes on screen, and basically no one wants to fuck with Suho, okay? Because Suho can fight. He like used to train in MMA, but he keeps to himself. He doesn't like beat people up. He doesn't bully anyone. He works 2 jobs, so he's basically sleeping all during school. He has this cute little pink pillow that he pulls out from his desk, and he puts his head on it, and he sleeps like all day. But he, at one point, comes to the rescue of Shion. Shion's getting kind of like beat up. Suho comes to the rescue because he's basically like, look, to the bullies, like, don't cross the line. And if you cross the line, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And he does with a wink. It's incredible. That one wink. And I was like, done. Absolutely done. So he's an amazing character to Shihan, because Shihan is kind of like in this like dark cloud. He's like, who's the Peanuts character that walks around with a cloud on him?
Pigpen?
No, with no, I mean, isn't there one that walks around with like a rainy cloud over him?
Oh, rainy cloud. Sorry, I thought you meant the dirty.
No, not the dirty guy. Whatever the rainy cloud character is, that's basically Shion. He's just walking with like a gray cloud over his head at all times. But Suho is like the opposite of him. So Suho is charming. Suho is lively. Suho like likes life. There's this scene that's kind of interesting where they're sitting and talking at lunch, and another character, Oh Bum-suk, is like, hey, I really like this new restaurant. Do you guys want to go? And Ansu is like, yeah, that sounds good. Like he's like currently eating with like a full mouth. And Shion is like, why are you talking about food while you're eating food? And Suho's just like, well, I talk about life while I'm living life. Like he just has this like different perspective that like Shihan does not get. He brings color into Shion's world. He's like everything. He's the herald. He's definitely the herald archetype, which is he pushes the MC out of their comfortable life, because that's absolutely true. But he's also like a mentor and an ally. He teaches Shion how to defend himself in a fight. This is a very violent K-drama. There's a lot of very violent bullying. And Suho is just everything to Shion. So Shion smiles twice in an entire 8 episodes of Weak Hero Class 1. Both of them are to Suho. He smiles twice in 8 episodes, and it's only to his friend Suho. And I saw the director say in like kind of like a press conference that these boys are in love. Or he's like, he says something like, this is definitely a first love. And I 100% agree, but I don't think it's a romantic love. Like, I really don't think Suho would be like, yeah, let's stick our hands down each other's pants. Like, I really don't think that would happen, like, just based on the character. But I fully believe that they love each other. Like, a strong love. Like, I think there can be many different kinds of love. I know, Leah, I just don't. I think the part of me is I don't like the shipping culture so much, because I think sometimes it's okay to tell men like you can love each other and it doesn't mean you want to fuck each other. And that's the way I feel about these two characters. Like they absolutely love each other. And it's one of the best friendships I've seen. And An Suho is just one of the best supporting characters I've ever seen in his relationship with Shion, how he pushes him out of his comfort zone, how he shows him what friendship is. There's just so much that I get why people are like, get past the violence. Like I wish I package Suho in something that you guys could both watch so you'd understand how amazing he was. Like Choi Hyun-wook is now like a god to me, the fact that he like brought this character on screen. So thank you for letting me go on my diatribe about Ansuho.
I was just looking at the cast list. I didn't realize that Ryun is in it too, and they were father and son in Twinkling Watermelon.
Well, that's season 2. So
Okay.
yeah. Choi Hoonuk is not really in season 2 at all until
okay.
well, I'm not going to say anything, but
Okay.
he's not in season 2 for reasons. But yeah, but in Twinkling Watermelon, now I want to see that too because they were in that together. I'm hoping in season 3, the gang all gets together.
They're really great together. I really do think you would like, both of you would like Twinkling Watermelon.
Yeah, Hazel saw it. She's like, how have you not seen it?
I know.
Anyway.
I feel like it's just like that ship sailed by and it's been hard to catch it again, but
I know.
never say never.
Yeah. But anyway, I just feel very strongly about Ansuho. I think he's incredible. It was such a good character. Probably one of the best supporting characters I've ever seen. I cannot stop thinking about him. My Instagram For You page, 70% Ansuho right now. It's like the same clip of him winking before you like smack someone. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
So I have a song recommendation for you.
Okay.
So the musician is called Petey, Petey, and the song is called For the Boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. So I got into it through Jara and Nick loving it. And it's essentially a song about male love platonically.
Yeah.
And so I am open to all forms of love. I'm going to be real clear on the record for that. But I'm also not going to discount platonic love as well. And so this song is just like, it's a beautiful song of like, so it's called Don't Tell the Boys because it's essentially two guys in their feelings, loving on each other, watching the OC together, talking about like Marissa dying, just like getting into their feelings about everything.
The OC is like my thing. So
yes. But then like the chorus is like, don't tell the boys because it's just like, you know, they're like, we love each other. We're not in love with each other, but we love each other. But like, is that cool for boys to do? So like the song is like, don't tell the boys, like don't tell our other friends, but we fucking like love each other.
That's Suho and Xion. Like that should be their theme song. I just think they absolutely love each other. And like people can disagree with me. Like if you're like Megan, no, I definitely think they would like whatever. Fine. I don't think so. That's my interpretation. And obviously like I love BLs. I love romantic. I love any type of romance, but I also think it's okay to just be like, these are best friends who love each other. And
yeah, I think it's a full spectrum. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's like a better or worse. I just think there's like a gradient. But the song, listen to, really fun.
Thank you. I love that.
I listened to it in the car because he gets very emotional and worked up singing it, which makes it good. So it's not just like a cutesy little song. Like he really starts to be in his feelings singing it.
I love that.
And so, yeah, we listen to it a lot. And we're just like in the car, like Bronte and I listen to it a lot. We'll just be in the car, just being like, don't tell the boys, like just like getting into it. So.
I think too, I remember when like in, I would say like middle school, when I kind of really was understanding how relationships work, kind of my first loves were my friendships with other girls. Like that was kind of my first love before I ever like understood sort of like sexual attraction. I was like loving other girls. Like they were my best friends. And so I think that to me, that's what We Caro class was essentially, was like, or at least this relationship was like, oh my, this is like our first real friendship and we love each other.
All right. So I decided to pick some people because sometimes I feel like I talk about like same. And so I was trying to challenge myself to think of like,
yeah, you have some good ones.
So I tried to throw some out of the box ones of like things I haven't talked about, but that like meant a lot to me. Again, caveat, I am exhausted. So this isn't going to be the night I'm going to be the most on I've ever been. I do apologize in advance.
You're like, I think you're.
But the one I wanted to talk about first was Looney from Prison Playbook. I don't know what made him
such a good one. Oh my gosh.
Such a good one.
I was trying to think of the ensembles, and I tend to go when I think of ensembles to like Reply and Our Blues. Like Prison Playbook I enjoy, but I tend to not reflect on it quite as much. But I think today I saw Sarah from K-Drama This starting to lose it on Resident Playbook. And I was like, ooh, I do need to watch Resident Playbook. Like, I'm kind of surprised I haven't jumped. I mean, I'm not surprised I haven't jumped because I've been extraordinarily busy. But I was like, oh, God, I've got to, I love the playbooks. And then I was like, Prison Playbook, though, man, that's a good one. And so that's, I think, what got me down the path of thinking about Looney. I've got real mixed feelings on old Uni. So I'm going to say that he's like the archetype is like the trickster, probably a little bit unpredictable, not evil, a little bit of moral ambiguity, kind of chaotic. I mean, we could give other ones, but that's kind of what I landed on with him. Tough one because drug abuse is real and drug addiction is difficult and painful for so many people to go through. And I'm going to talk about this with another character later, like what happened to them in real life, is we also know that like what is normalized in Korean society around the topics of drug use, like it's not like we are like the leading like liberal light of drug use in this country. And like we fail plenty of people who have addiction issues for sure. And I would say though that like there is a little bit more of like a social gradient that if somebody's like using drug, like I know people who use drugs recreationally to people who have like used drugs like problematically. But I would say that like immediately I don't go to like more of like a moral failing as like where the root is in it. And so I would say that like, again, I'm not going to speak for like Joe Public, South Korea, but I'm going to say that there does seem to be like when you're on the outside looking in a real sense that there's like a lot of like morality and judgment of like a human tied into like how if they've used drugs or not. And I think it came what it felt like worked itself out in Prison Playbook that like I reflect on sometimes is almost the sense that it was like once you've started, like you're never going to be able to stop. And so I have conflictions on the end of what happened to Looney in his arc to some degree, because in the end, he leaves prison and he doesn't even like, how far does he get? Like not far. Like he's just out of prison and essentially the police do a sting on him for drugs and he ends up right back in jail.
Yeah, I hate that ending for him, and I like to pretend that didn't happen.
Which for me, there's like the reflection of yes, drug addiction is difficult. Criminalizing drug abuse feels very challenging. I mean, I understand this is a different culture, but like I'm a no regardless. Like I don't think this is this isn't criminalized behavior. And then that sense of like, yeah, like basically like you don't even get to go like 5 feet before it's like, nope, it's in your bones essentially, and like you're back in the loop. So I think about that character a lot because I think they went through like a big journey in prison and ended up back where they were, which is realistic and sad to some degree. I, again, hate criminalizing drug use, but they played their character really well. And I feel like we're kind of like a scene stealer in many ways.
Like as soon as I saw him listed on here, I was like, oh my gosh, like he's such a memorable character. So good. So my next one is Jo Min-ja, better known as Ajuma from Healer, played by our favorite Kim Mi-kyung. And I think that she has many, many roles as far as like what she does for Healer. Is she an ally? Yes. Is she a mentor? Yes. But I also think she's kind of a herald and a shadow. Like I think she plays many different roles. If you have not watched Healer, my God, one of the best, like I'd say of the not old, but older than recent, like a modern classic K-drama, I'd say. So she is basically like the tech genius behind everything that Healer or Jung-hoo, played by Ji Chang-wook, every job that he's on as a, skating the line of legal errand boy, she is the tech hacker behind everything that he needs. She's there in his earpiece, holed up in her little like hacker dungeon. Nobody knows where she is. And he can't get through any job without her, right? Like she saves his like ass many, many times. So ally, mentor, because, she's taught him a lot. Herald and shadow. And I think they kind of go together because she is what Jung-hoo will end up being if he doesn't get out of his like little sort of fortress that he's made for himself and the way that he lives his life, right? Like he only goes out into the world as assumed identities. He does not go out into the world as himself. He is either Healer, people know him as Healer, or he is pretending to be someone else for a job. But nobody knows the real Jung-hoo. And so I think what's really great about her, because we do get to a point in the drama where she has to leave like her little hacker den because she's about to be found out by the baddies looking for them. And she has so long like lived this like reclusive life, that it is a really tough thing for her to go. And that's going to be him if he does not, sort of get past his virtual and like literal walls that he hides behind. So I think she's very, very key, like in the entirety of the drama. Is this drama like full of many like amazing ensemble characters? Absolutely. But I think she is definitely the key because spoiler alert, like she has a good ending in the drama too. Like like she's a great character and things end up great for her. But there is a danger of her kind of like losing herself, losing the person that she used to be. And Jung-Hoo is on the way to doing that, but he's, he can still turn it around. He can still, kind of grab his life back. And I think that's a great part of the drama is their relationship with each other.
Okay, so I'm actually going to talk about one of Kim Sung-young's characters, and I know we've talked about Kim Sung-young before. We absolutely love Kim Sung-young, but I haven't talked about this role because we didn't cover this drama. I watched it, and I hated the last episode so much that I was really turned off. But it's a virtuous business. So it's a great K-drama. It's a great, great K-drama right up until the last episode. Then the last episode's terrible. But Kim Sung-young, her character in this, so her character is So Young-bak. And she is a mother of 4. So she has at the time it's starting, sorry, because she gets pregnant through, I'm gonna say a few spoilers about a virtuous business, but she gets pregnant in like the middle. But she is a housewife. She's got a bunch of kids. I mean, and she had just had a baby like at the beginning of the show or beginning of the drama. Her husband is kind of like an ex-con in a way. Like he had been caught stealing in the past. So it's very hard for him to get a job. So she's pretty much bringing in like most of the money for the family. And it's one of the reasons that she decides to start this adult business where they're selling like lingerie, sex toys, stuff like that. It's very like Mary Kay, but lingerie and sex toys. It's kind of like a home sales business. But the thing about her character that she's not the main character. The main character is played by Kim So-yeon. But So Young-bak is the character that definitely impacted me the most because she loves her family and she really struggles with how to make money. She's also like one of the women they're working with is very rich. So I think for her too, she's constantly comparing herself to someone who's wealthy. And there's a time where she has to make a very difficult decision whether she is going to support her family or she is going to support her friends. And it is a scene that tears me open inside. I think you got to watch A Virtuous Business, except for the last episode, to see it. But she's just such a great supporting character. She's so important to the main lead. She's a great friend. But then she has her own arc as well that she's, struggling with a husband who can't work. But yet her husband, there's also like dynamics of some of the female characters, their husbands don't appreciate them, where she has a husband who absolutely loves her and actually always wants to like have sex with her. And that's why she has a million kids. So that's also interesting too, because she is like weighing, well, I have this beautiful family and people who love me and a husband who loves me and a good husband. But yet, like, I'm broke as a joke. Like, we don't have money for rice. And it's just very, very, the dynamics of, like, the different women in this drama are really good. But I would say her character was the one who made me cry, who made my heart ache. Her story was my favorite. Although she makes me cry in every drama.
I would say she's excellent in everything she's in.
So powerful.
It really is. All right. I am going to do, let's see. You know what? I'm going to do Noel from Squid Game. Because, sorry, Amy, on this one, because you haven't seen it.
That's all right.
Megan, I was trying to think what I would classify her as, and I really wasn't sure. So I said herald more as a joke because I was like, she's pushing characters out of their comfortable lives at the business end of a machine gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're a baddie, but they're not. Like, it's like, I feel like there was more nuance than, like, it didn't feel right to say that they were like a shapeshifter. So, yeah.
Can I just say real quick, not to like keep going, but when I said like sequel bait is to kind of like give them like this sort of ambiguous backstory or kind of like a cryptic line, she's like the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Where you're not sure what her backstory is, but you're like craving
Well,
it.
you know
do a
enough
little
to know
bit.
she's got a child. You know enough that she's very sympathetic to loves children. You see her at the very beginning. So what they do really interestingly with her is, like I forget what you called it once. I think it was Amy. I forget if it was you, Megan. I think it was Amy saying that like when you need somebody to like somebody right away, like you'll have them be nice to like a dog or do something like that.
Yeah, save the cat.
Save the cat. Yeah.
Yeah. So the save the cat mentality is you have this with her and a child.
Yeah.
So you see her with like a cancer kid, essentially. She's like a character in an amusement park, and she's like kind to this cancer kid. She's also very down on her luck, sleeping in her car, is not able to sleep in her car at the amusement park anymore. They've been like, this is the last time. And she gets recruited into Squid Game to be one of the, like, what you see in Squid Game is there's players, and then there's also like I don't know, what do you call them? They're not the assassins. They're just the
workers, basically.
the workers, but they're the ones that kill you.
They're the staff.
Yeah, they're the
They're
staff.
the killer staff.
But like, yeah, they're not keeping the lights on for you. Like they're there to bring you the fork to fork someone to death. They're there when you fail your game. They put the bullet in your head. They're up in like in the tower when like you're not doing the red light, green light game well, and they're like gunning you down. So, I mean, yes, they're there to kill you, but they're also, as we can see, because we get like more of a glimpse in Squid Game 2, they're also like the working poor. It's just that when they got recruited into that role as opposed to being like a player.
But they're still sort of like just as disadvantaged in a way. Like they
Yeah.
don't have the power. They don't.
No power. And she is a North Korean defector. We know she still has a child in North Korea, and she like killed someone and like got out of North Korea essentially, but her kid's still up there, and she's like trying to find her child and get it back. That's her motivation for money. So all these things I'm saying, she's a killer for hire. Like she's just shooting people in the face, like innocents, but she needs money to try to find her kid. And she kind of has just accepted, like, this is what I do. I shoot people in the face. But it goes a bridge too far because part of the underground operations of, I mean, I'm giving away, if you want to know, I mean, look, at this point, you shouldn't have even been listening. But if you want to know nothing, just keep going. But part of what's happening in like the underbelly of Squid Game is organ harvesting. And so the workers are making side money by like grabbing fresh livers, grabbing kids. So they don't want to always kill you right away. They want to kind of like keep you kind of alive so they can like grab your organs out before they like incinerate you essentially. So she feels like this is a bridge too far. It's one thing to just be like, look, these people played a game for what better or worse, they knew what they were getting into. They're going to get my bullet in their head. Fine. But the organ harvesting just hits her like this feels ethically complicated. So while she's there kind of like doing her guard thing, she's also now on the outs with other guards who are like, no, we have a good thing going. Like we're making money, like you're causing trouble. So they like go find her, like shake her down, like beat her, threaten sexual violence on her essentially to try to keep her in line because they want to keep their profit side hustle going. So, yeah, I think she's an interesting side character because in Squid Game, we're meant to empathize a lot with the characters playing the game. Whereas the guards they're faceless. Like they've got the masks with the square or the triangle or the circle. And so opening it up to getting a little bit more of like a guard's POV and having it be sympathetic, but not too sympathetic. Like she is going to kill you and not feel bad about it. But if they keep you alive to gut your kidneys out, you know, she's got an issue with that. And so she's killing people all the time so that they can't take the organs. Yeah. So she's constantly making her kills clean and good because she doesn't want them alive for the organ harvesting. And like she's making enemies from that.
And it's like such a weird, as a listener, or as a watcher, you're like, it's weird to root for a clean kill. But you're like rooting for her to have a clean kill so that they're not like half dying while their kidneys being cut out of them. You know what I mean? Like that's like it's like it's just a crazy thing to be rooting for, and it's what makes, I think, her side character so compelling.
Yeah, and so that's why I didn't really know where to put her in the end.
No,
like, kind of a trickster, but she doesn't feel like she's got that chaotic fun energy.
No,
it's kind of like a pragmatic villain who's like, ugh. but I have to be good. But they're also good because they didn't mean to be they're a pragmatic killer, not for the love of the kill, but because they were a soldier too. So that's the other thing. They're like an expert markswoman.
Mhm.
And so like they didn't just end up there through ending up there. Like they're very good at what they do.
So my final one is Yi Kyung as Min Hwan in Marry My Husband, who is so good at being bad. He is definitely a shapeshifter.
Yes.
But here's what's so great about what this drama does. If you haven't watched it, you know in episode 1 that Yi Kyung kills Park Bin Young. Like, she is his wife. She is dying of cancer. She goes home because she's mad at him because they don't have money to pay the hospital bills. So she like leaves the hospital to go home and like yell at him about not paying the bill. And he's at home fucking her best friend. And she confronts them because she's like dying already. So she's like, I'm not going to like shrink away from this. And she starts throwing stuff at them, blah, blah, blah. And they get into a little tussle and he pushes her. She crashes through a glass table and dies. So he manslaughters her. Involuntary manslaughter. Well, it's kind of voluntary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know from the very first episode that he is a shit, like a total shit, right? What happens though when she dies is she wakes up 10 years in the past and she realizes that she's being given a chance to like get her revenge on the people who wronged her, which is basically her best friend and her husband. And what's so great about the way that Yi Kyung plays Min Hwan is because she's so like ashamed of herself for like falling for his lies, but he's so good at gaslighting her and gaslighting the viewer that you're like, God damn, this guy is charming. Like he's a total
I'm like,
idiot. He's an idiot. And you know he's an idiot. But like, you're like, yeah, I can see how this happened. Like I can see why she fell for him.
totally you can see.
You see him courting her. Like
He's so good at it.
it. Yeah, they flash back to him courting her like before, it's crazy. It's crazy good. And he has this smile that no matter how bad he is, he's like his smile, it's like a Wee Ha Jun kind of smile, right?
Mhm.
Like where his smile takes up his entire being and it's such a good smile that he can get away with anything. And he does for a while. But the way the drama ends for him is, I also think, very, very well done. But yeah, I mean, as much as we like talked about Marry My Husband kind of jumping the shark and getting a little over the top at times, I really liked the drama. And I really liked the way the baddies kind of got their just desserts in the end. Really, really well done. But yeah, Yi Kyung as Min Hwan, best shapeshifter.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Okay, I am going to talk about Ko-yu Rim, played by Bona, and that was in 2521. So I know I've said before, 2521 could have been a sapphic romance to me between Na-hito, played by Kim Tae-ri, and Ko-yu Rim. But it wasn't, and that's okay. That's okay. So what they presented to me was, it was very similar to Shion
You're on
and
the
Suho.
platonic love wagon.
Look
at you.
I am totally, apparently I love that. Like, I guess I do. I guess I really love platonic love. I guess I do, because both of these got me. Like, I still think about Na-hito and Ko-yu Rim all the time, about their beautiful relationship. And what's so interesting is that, so Kim Tae-ri is like an aspiring fencer. She wants to like be the national team Olympic fencer. And she knows who Ko-yu Rim is, because Ko-yu Rim is already at the league that she wants to be. I don't really remember. I think it's the national team or whatever, Olympic team, whatever Ko-yu Rim is on. So Na-hito starts out, she doesn't know, like they've never met. So at this point, Ko-yu Rim is sort of just like a role model, like an idol to her. I guess that's probably the way to describe it. And then she meets Ko-yu Rim, and immediately it shifts into rivals. Like it's almost enemies. So it's very weird dynamic between them, because it's like Na-hito had like idolized Ko-yu Rim, and now all of a sudden she's like her rival, because Ko-yu Rim's like, I don't like you, you're trying to take my spot. But then you obviously learn Ko-yu Rim, she's supporting her family. So her family has nothing. Ko-yu Rim's supporting her family. It's a lot of pressure on her. She's kind of miserable because all she does is practice fencing. She doesn't have friends. While she loves her family, she feels immense pressure to support her family, her parents. And so it goes from rivals, then it goes towards like more of a mentor type relationship, because then they start to like get closer together, and then they become allies and friends. And by the end of the drama, they're like best friends. And it's beautiful to like watch this shift in their relationship. And it's also spans, several years, so you can see them grow and change. And but Ko Yu Rim herself is just such an amazing character, and she has a romance with Choi Hyun-wook, actually, in 2521. It is also a beautiful first love romance that, like, as a viewer, you're definitely, like, rooting for. But Ko Yu Rim was just such a cool character, but I think she is also what made Nahito so great. Like, you needed Ko Yu Rim to make Nahito be as great as she can be.
I'm going to go wild card for the last one because...
Do it.
I'm going to do my honor. I had an honorable mention. I'm moving it into my top 3 because
yes!
you had said we should do a non-humans too. And I was like, you know what? This week, I was even telling people, have you seen I'm Not a Robot? It's really good. And I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Lovelies.
Yes.
Like the Roomba. The Roomba who gets a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Because that little Roomba is just a Roomba living its life. But somehow it has personality because the hero loves his little robot. Because the premise of this, if you have not heard us rhapsodize on I'm Not a Robot, is he, through trauma, has an allergy to people. And he cannot touch people or he will break into severe hives. It's psychosomatic, but it's real. So it's basically in his head, but it manifests very physically poorly for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the premise of the show is he lives alone with his lovelies, which are all his little robot friends and Roombas, and those are the things that he can connect with. And then the love interest is somebody who is pretending to be a robot, essentially, but is a real human girl, but blah, blah, blah. But there was just something about, I mean, like, because you could say, oh gosh, it would feel like, is this where humanity's going? We're so isolated and we just have our electronics and whatever. Yes and I don't know. There was just something really lovely about the lovely being a Roomba. And I'm trying to think of like what are devices I have. My computer, especially the journey I've been on with this laptop in the last like couple of hours, or days. I feel like this laptop is like, somebody was asking me like recently, like, are you going to bring your laptop when you go to Korea? I'm like, my laptop's like my best friend. I'm sorry. Like, we go everywhere together. Like, my laptop and I are a thing. I write. I mean, my laptop is my lovely. Nothing's as fun as work, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's my truth. So I like a lovely.
Well, the thing too is lovely is really important to the plot. It truly is, because his relationship with that Roomba it sounds crazy to say this out loud. That's why I feel like people need to watch I'm Not a Robot. But his relationship with the Roomba is like, it's how you understand why he is who he is. And don't you remember too that like Lovely had its own room and then he gave it to her when she took over as his favorite robot? It was hysterical. Like, there was like, so I think that's a great supporting character, Leah. Okay, let's be real. K-dramas love to kill off supporting characters, whether it's by the White Truck of Doom, getting bit by a zombie, or some other crazy reason, like bleeding buckets of blood from the head. So is there an archetype that is more likely to die than others? I don't know why I wanted to talk about this, but I did.
I think mentors are at the biggest risk for sure. Like, they do the job and protect or teach the hero or heroine, and then bye-bye. Like, think of like Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda. Well, Megan, you don't think of them, but because you don't know.
It's always the mentors. It's always the mentors.
Yeah. And so I think a fun one in K-drama, and like, I'm going to spoil a little something in Alchemy of Souls. So if you don't want something from the 30 episodes of Alchemy of Souls spoiled for you, especially since this isn't like the second part, turn off your listening holes for a second.
Your holes?
Listening holes. But this one I think is kind of funny because Alchemy of Souls like edges you like to the brink of like, catastrophe is going to happen, and then somehow everybody just survives. So the two mentors that I'm going to talk about are Pak Jin and maidservant Kim, who are the mentors to our like gaggle of mages, especially our leads. And they also have a very lovely slow burn romance that takes the entirety of the 30 episodes. And it's so fun and I love them. And they offer a lot of comic relief. But in the end of the second half, when shit is really going down and we think that our good guys are going to lose, I believe he dies but doesn't, and then she dies but doesn't. Like, they're both revived at the end.
Right.
But it's to the extent where, like, she gets, like, avalanched into, like, the cave, like, where all the bad spirits are.
Oh, right.
And I think, she gets, like, closed in, and he gets, I don't know if he gets, like, I don't even remember what happens to him. Something happens to him, and they both think that the other is dead.
Right.
And they're each almost dead, but they don't die. And I remember being really emotional and afraid that these characters were going to die. And look, like, this happens a lot in K-drama. Like, we lose secondary characters. So I would have believed it, but they're both fine.
They are.
They're both fine. So I thought it was kind of funny because they were like the two big mentors throughout the drama, and they both almost die, but don't.
I do feel like it's always the mentors. Like, it's every time.
Yeah.
So name a favorite supporting character two that never made it to the end credits. I don't know why I said it like that.
So this is gonna be spoilery.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna spoil. Let's just say the drama first, and then I'll go first. So I have two. So the first one is from Mr. Sunshine. I will never be over the death of Kudo Hina, played by Kim Min-jung. Gudong Mei carrying her on his back, one shoe, after she just like blew up her hotel. I loved her character so much. She had her own motivations, her own goals, and you thought she was like an enemy. She was like she was a trickster, I guess I would say, because you weren't really sure whose side she were on, and really she was on her own side. Okay? She was on her own side the whole time. If her goals aligned with yours, then you were just in luck, but she was always on her side. But she was such a good character. I fell in love with her, and her death hit me so hard. And the other one is from Unlock My Boss, which this one I still am not over because I did not think they were going to kill anyone in this drama, and they killed Moppy. So Moppy is played by Kim Sung-ho. He's like the guy who sells blood sausages in Fight for My Way. So he plays Moppy, and what's interesting is when you start Moppy, or you start Unlock My Boss, you think he's just this like villain. So he's basically like a debt collector, and you think that's just going to be his role. He's just going to be like a baddie, one-dimensional debt collector. But then he ends up like joining the team away. I mean, basically they're trying to figure out who murdered their boss. Okay. And he's trying to collect debt from the boss's secretary. And she's like, look, I don't have any money until I find out what happened to my boss. And he's like, all right, I'll get on board. I'll help you a little bit then because I want my money. So it's like selfish reasons, but then it shifts because so Moppy is an orphan, and I mean, he's an adult now, but he was an orphan. And the boss's daughter is obviously like the 6-year-old like orphan now because no one knows what happened to her father. He's disappeared. And so Moppy really kind of like takes to her because he understands like what she's going through. And they share kind of like these like moon pies with each other. And it's just like really touching. And you start to really like Moppy. You start to like understand him. And then he basically sacrifices himself in order for the main leads to like find the mystery. He gets beaten to death. It's like terrible. But and there's a song in the background that I still listen to. It's called Nobody's Perfect, and it's like this really good like Korean rap song that I have on my playlist because I love it so much. I can link it too for us, but yeah, it's called Nobody's Perfect. And every time I hear that song, I think about Moppy, and I loved him so much. And his death hit me so hard. I kept being like, no, he's gonna come back. No, he's dead. He's dead. And it was such a good side character because he is like, again, when I'm introduced, I'm like, oh, he's just terrible villain. And then all of a sudden by the end, I'm like, no, Moppy, no, don't die.
So mine is somebody who's probably a shapeshifter, I guess. Like, this person deserved to die in, but you know what? I wasn't ready for them to go. I'm talking about Squid Game again. I did not expect to just be like coming hard for Squid Game tonight, but you know what? season 2 finale is coming June 27th. I have it locked in my brain, and I'm stoked. I am unapologetically on Team Squid Game and not sad about it. A breakout performance for me was Thanos, the mercurial. I mean, was he a drug addict? I mean, he was a drug dealer. I don't really know. There were drugs involved.
We don't know.
Played by Top. Is it Top or T.O.P.?
I don't know. I usually say T.O.P.
I'm going to say Top because it's.
I don't think it's fine.
Feels weird to say T.O.P.
Yeah.
So a former member of the idol group Big Bang, one of Gen 2, kind of an OG group. And he had to exit the group in the 2000 aughts because he smoked marijuana. Allegedly or confirmed, I forget.
I don't even know.
I think it was I think it was fairly confirmed.
Yeah.
From that action, he was not able to work in public entertainment really for 7 years. And when he got cast into this role, there were people uproarious, ready to fight that he should not be seen in public in a show.
Yeah, they wanted to boycott it.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, look, no, just no. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
I don't even... Yes, I live in liberalized California. Yes, there is a cannabis store on every corner. That's my context and my truth. But also just, we don't cancel people. Even if you thought that was a bad decision, a poor decision that he made with his own body on his own time, hurting no one, just alone. You think then he's not deserving of any future entertainment, anything? I mean, I don't even want anyone to connect the dots for me. Just,
right. I don't want to hear rationale. I don't care.
And so he smashed the role.
Yeah.
I think it might have played a little bit to his strengths of I got the sense sometimes he wasn't acting. I mean, I don't think he is a murderer in real life. I think he's probably a little bit kooky and unpredictable, but he played the character well. And it was a really enjoyable character to watch. And he was kind of one. So in the game, you either vote to stay in, risk the death, but the longer you stay in, the more people die and the more money you get. Or you could just tap out and be on the vote. So every time they vote, there's people who are I want out. I'm out. No, 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 no. Money doesn't matter. My life matters. I want out of here. And then there's the side that's fuck it. Pedal to the metal. Gun it. No pain, no gain, basically. And the more we kill our colleagues, the more money we're going to get because there's going to be less people to get the money in the pot when we tap out, essentially. So he was the ringleader of the go, 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 pedal to the metal, fuck the world, I'm going to get mine. And in the end, he does. He gets fucking forked in the throat and does
by MC1.
By MC1 of all, yeah. Little beautiful MC1 who, I mean, I love how MC1 is so beautiful and he can be a fucking savage.
Yeah. And he's such a brat. He's such a shady little brat.
He is a shady brat in this one.
Which I like. Thank you for
he's
giving him
actor.
He's not just this pure character. He's
no.
A little.
He's not Gouray. He's not Gouray from me saying being oh ma.
No.
He's
he's a little bit of a shit. And I love it.
But he does end up forking the baddie in the neck. And the baddie deserves a die-in, but also I was just really entertained by him and I could have kept going with that character. There was no redemption arc. I wasn't rooting for a redemption arc. It's just fun when you have a baddie who just kind of likes the chaos of evil.
Yeah, he just wanted chaos. He wanted to create chaos. It was funny that you mentioned him because my daughter came downstairs the other night and she's like, look at my nails. And she had painted her nails. And I was like, cool. And she's like, do you get it? And I was like, because they were all different colors. And I was like, she's like Thanos from Squid Game. She painted them because he has his fingernails painted all different colors. But she had she had the right colors. And it was funny because I actually saw an interview with him recently where that was his idea to paint his nails the color of Thanos's, the Marvel character.
The Infinity Stones.
The color of the Infinity Stones. It was his idea. So he painted his nails and went to the director and the director's like, yeah, I like it. And the thing is his nails are very iconic. That's part of how you recognize Thanos's character is his hair and these nails. So I think it was incredible to build that brand, build up the brand of that character.
Yeah. No, he was fun. I really enjoyed him.
Me too.
So I chose 2 and 1, I mean, is the OG, Gu Sung Joon. Kim Jong-hyun from Crash Landing on You. That was my first K-drama, and that was my introduction to, beloved characters
Yeah.
will die. That whole ambulance ride, I'm like, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He was not fine. And he was a shapeshifter. I'll call him because he was not, he was a morally gray character. He wasn't a bad guy, but he was a damaged hero, secondary hero, lots of emotional boo-boos. And he did what he did in order to survive. And he put himself first all the time. And what makes his death so hard at the end is he could have saved himself and chose to save somebody else instead. And in doing so, ended up dying. So it was a noble death. It was, there's a whole sort of arc of, him thinking that someday when he dies, he's going to die with nobody loving him. And he dies being loved. So it's very sad, but very poignant. And I hated it and loved it at the same time. I thought it was a good introduction to what can happen in K-dramas. And a lot of us who watched Crash Landing on You as our sort of gateway drama got sort of initiated into, you can love a character and they're going to be gone. Not that we've never experienced that before. Like, we all watched Game of Thrones, like season 1 Game of Thrones, like, you're going to lose all the good guys. Poor Sean Bean and everything he's in. My son actually brought up to me yesterday. He's like, who do you think dies more and stuff now, Sean Bean or Pedro Pascal?
Oh,
I'm like, it's a contest.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Kim Jong-hyun playing Gu Sung-joon, fantastic job. Love that character. And a good example of a shapeshifter. The other one is going to be from A Shop for Killers. So I didn't even really give a warning about Crash Landing on You because I feel like everybody knows that one. So if you have not watched A Shop for Killers, because now there's hopefully, supposedly, going to be a season 2, right? So I'm going to talk about a character from season 1 of A Shop for Killers. And here's what's so amazing about this character. So the character's name is Honda. And Honda is, I'd say he's an ally to start, but I have another definition for him. Honda never speaks a word because Honda is hearing impaired. So he will gesture, he texts, but you never hear his voice. But he's one of the, I say good guys with like air quotes because there are 0 good guys in this drama. There's just the people that you root for because the good guys do bad things. They sell illegal weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So still, we love the good guys. Anyway, so Honda's definitely an ally for the team that we're like rooting for, but I'm also going to call him a herald for pushing our heroine, Jana, out of her comfort zone because Jana sees him get murdered as a young child. And that kind of pushes her out of the comfort of her world as she knows it. And it's watching his death that has her literally like escape her apartment and run from and escape from the baddies when she's a little kid and then grows into this teenager who then has to defend her uncle's illegal arms dealing fortress against the people who want to take it from her. So yeah, I think Honda's a great example of a herald, maybe even a mentor because he does his job and then he's gone because Jian, from that moment on, like her life is never the same. She doesn't understand quite yet. Both her parents have just died and she doesn't know because she's a little kid. She doesn't know that they were murdered. But both her parents have just been murdered. And her uncle was taking care of her like after. Was it after or was it? No, he left to go find out that things happen in like out of sequence. So I don't even remember. All I know is that her uncle, Jinman, played by Lee Dong-wook, was with her and then had to leave. And it's because of what happened to her parents. And leaves her alone in the apartment and basically tells her, like, don't answer the door for anybody who's not Honda.
Yeah.
And she lets Honda in, but then the bad guys get in and through a crack in the door, she sees Honda get murdered.
That was rough. That was rough to watch Honda get
It was,
off.
because first of all, so like he's played by Park Jung-woo, like adorable man, like gorgeous man, young, like you're like, this guy's going to be in the whole drama.
Yeah, right.
he's one of the quote unquote good guys. And it happens like so early on. It might have been episode 1. I don't even know. Episode 1 or 2. How many episodes were there?
There's only 8 episodes.
There's only 8. Yeah. But yeah, so it was really interesting to see a good guy character die really quickly. A good guy side character.
Yeah.
But he was really good. And they made like you loved this character from like just a couple of episodes, then he's gone.
That's his only role. Oh no, he was also in Spice Up Our Love, which was a TV movie. That's it. Those two. A
He
Shop for
still
Killers.
hasn't done anything else?
Yeah, Honda. Why
Yeah,
isn't
that's
anyone
it.
casting you? You're so cute.
He's so cute.
Ugh, I loved him as Honda. I
yeah,
really did.
Park Jung-woo.
Okay, and then to close this out, name a supporting character, if you didn't already, that you'd love to see as a main lead.
I'm throwing my note because I can't believe I've never said this before. I want Reaper from Goblin spinoff. How did
For
we not
sure.
do a spinoff of just like Reaper?
I
mean, I guess because they kind of had the story with Sunny and whatever. I get it. But like, Tale the Night Tales me again, I guess. I would have done more Reaper. I could do 10 out of 10 more Reaper, just living his Reaper life.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, I don't know why we aren't getting that.
It's the first one that popped in my head that I was like, we had Goblin. And I'm like, now I want to do Reaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, look, I think what it is, because I can answer my own question, is Touch Your Heart was kind of that. I think for me, if I had to like extrapolate, it would be like Goblin kind of had, him needing to be in another timeline with himself. And so Touch Your Heart's kind of what that could be if he was like in a different, but you know what? I don't care. I want the tea shop. I want the whole thing. I want ghosts. Kim Shin can go do something else, but I want to see Reaper do stuff. So even if I know that even though like it's a different writer, it's not really like a sequel, but like I think a lot of people kind of unpacked it as a sequel because we see the leads, the romantic star-crossed lovers from Goblin, then be in Touch Your Heart and make it work.
Right.
But
it's like that's their rebirth.
Yeah, I want Reaper just reaping.
I agree. That's my pick too.
And I don't have an actual character. I just put, and like I'm like a broken record, but I'm going to keep saying this. Any Park Jin-joo character or Seo-hae-won character, please make either of both of these actresses leading ladies. That's because they're always the side characters, and I love them both, but I want to see them as leads. So take any of their characters and give them a full story. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree. Jeez, Park Jin-joo. Like, why? What are we doing? I freaking love her.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Honda was in a BL.
Was he?
He was in The Director Who Buys Me Dinner.
Well.
I don't think I've ever watched that. Well, now I got to go watch it, clearly. And then he's in one, this is according to Drama List. He's in one that's supposed to come out this year. It's called I Am a Running Mate. Okay, Honda, we'll be looking.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I think that's all for today. So thank you, ladies, for giving me a vehicle to talk about Ansuho. It's all about me and Ansuho.
This is fun. I like this.
Yeah, we could do this topic again. I feel like we could do this. Well, I just feel like we could do this exact same topic and have just
totally different characters.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Maybe we'll have to do a part 2.
Well, you all can let us know who we should talk about next time. Like, who's your favorite side character?
Yeah,
that has main character energy, or main villain energy, whatever you want it to be. But this was good. We talked for a long time, so hope you enjoyed listening, everybody. Yep. And we will see you next time.
Annyeong.
Annyeong. Leah Riley.
Megan.
Amy.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!